Hi, my name is Anastasia, and this is the first video interview of Alumni Network Society. And our today guest is Judy Whyte. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning and very nice to meet you. My name is Judy Whyte and I'm the Provost of Aberdeenshire Council. I was a previous student at Aberdeen University some 30 years ago.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and now we will start with our questions. Can you please tell me about your decision to attend the University of Aberdeen and what factors influenced your decision?
Okay. Well, I grew up in Aberdeenshire. I lived in a town called Inverurie, where I've lived all my life. And when I was at school, I succeeded in my 5th year of achieving 4 hires, and then thought, well, what's the next step for me? So I looked into some courses at university and was really attracted to a course at Aberdeen University at the time, which was a degree in land economy. So that was my decision. It was the course that attracted me, and then obviously Aberdeen University being close to home didn't seem such a big step to be making, leaving home and going to university. So, and it's such a beautiful city, that's really the decision. It was the course that attracted me here.
Brilliant, thank you so much. And we're moving on to the next question. What was your major or area of study during your time at university, and why did you choose it?
Okay, so I grew up on a farm in an agricultural setting, and I was really interested in agriculture and land use. And the course that attracted me was land economy, which was a mixture of, it evolved into a degree and takes you on to being able to qualify as a surveyor. And this was something that attracted me because it brought in the land management element, the rural land management element. So that was what made me choose land economy.
Oh, wow, very impressive.
Yeah.
I'm very motivated now.
Yeah.
Could you describe your first impression of the campus? Like, did you like it?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's such a beautiful setting. I mean, even walking in here today, another beautiful sunny autumn day,
so
and the trees are turning. There's all the beautiful old historic buildings, the cobbled streets. I mean, what's not to love? So yeah, fell in love with it straight away.
That's definitely very true. And what were your some favorite courses during your time at university?
So the course that I did was really varied. It sat under the geography department, and geography wasn't actually a subject that I had studied at school. I had done history as my sort of social science, but we did a lot in the way of land management, so it took in elements of agriculture. So we went to the agriculture building and had some lectures there. That's now what is now the McRobert building. And so the agricultural element was great. We did a bit of maths, which wasn't my strong point. No, because we had to do economics, yeah. So that wasn't my strong point, and it took a long time for me to be able to work out that was my challenge, I would say. But we also did an element of law as well, which I found really interesting. So I would say that agricultural studies and the law, the legal side of it, was most interesting for me.
Very good. And how did you balance your academic responsibilities and extracurricular activities, because it's so hard to find that balance?
Yeah, it is, but of course there's great social life at the University of Aberdeen, so that was established very quickly. So I would say the balance was between the academic studies and the social life during term time, and in order to balance that, I worked quite hard during my holidays. I worked hard at the summer before coming to university and saved up some money to be able to fund the social life and the expenses of student living. And then again during the holidays in first, second and third year, also went and worked and earned some money.
That's a very interesting viewpoint.
Yeah.
And maybe there are any particular challenges that you faced during your time at university. How did you overcome them?
I think I'm naturally quite a shy person, and I was a little nervous about coming to university. It is quite a big step, even though I wasn't moving far away from home. I was still only half an hour from home, but it's still a big step, leaving the family home and coming into a new setting and meeting new people. But that was quickly overcome because the university put on so many great events during Freshers' Week.
Exactly.
It's great fun, and it was really easy to meet people, and that was the most enjoyable thing, I think, was making new friends and meeting people with from different backgrounds and from different places around the world.
Yeah, definitely. And about the friends that you met, maybe you made some memorable moments at university that you would like to share with us?
Well, I met my husband while I was at university.
Oh,
yes,
this is so sweet.
Yeah,
Love story.
And many lifelong friends.
Oh God, do you still talk with them?
Yes, yeah, we still keep
Have
in
you
touch.
worked with them like ever, maybe on some project, business?
I don't know that we've necessarily gone on to work together, but there's always connections, and through social media and things.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how we came about to have this interview today, because we connected and realised we had a mutual connection through the university on social media. So it's a great network, and there's sort of alumni all over the world. No matter where you are or what situation you're in, there's always going to be somebody with a connection to the University of Aberdeen.
Yeah, what I feel about this university is that you receive a powerful network.
Yes.
And I will probably use it
Yes,
in
I'm sure you will.
next events. Did you engage in any student organizations or clubs?
I don't think I joined. I remember going to the Freshers Club event and going around and thinking, gosh, there's so much to do here. But I wasn't a particularly sporty person, so I didn't get involved in any sports. No, I think I connected quite a lot through, because I had come from a rural background and I had been involved in Young Farmers before. I knew some people who were studying agriculture at the time, and that was actually how I met my husband. So they used to host some really great social events. They used to have a weekly ceilidh, so I used to go along to that. But I didn't get involved in any particular clubs or associations while I was here, but many of my friends did.
So you mainly invested your time into studies?
Into the studies and the social life, yes.
Yeah, that's very right, very right. Oh, I just invest too much time in sports now, and I don't have time for anything else. How did your time at university influence your career choices and aspirations?
So I went to do the course because I was attracted by the subject, and I hadn't actually really thought beyond university at that time. But that's just me. Some people are very driven and have their life sort of planned out and have 5-10 year plans and things. I'm not like that. I sort of just drift along and see where it takes me and where I end up next. So I embarked on the course really without knowing what it could lead to, and during the course realised that it could lead on to a qualification in chartered surveying. And I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting, I'll do that. So that's really where it took me. So it inspired me to make that next step. And from leaving university, I went to work for a firm of chartered surveyors and did my 2-year traineeship to become an associate of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors.
That's very impressive. Thank you for your answer. We talked about friendships. How did the culture and traditions of Aberdeen influence your overall university experience?
It's such a traditional university. I mean, 500 plus years old.
Very old.
Yeah. And with all, as I said earlier, the beautiful buildings, the lovely setting, you can't help but to sort of fall in love with all that sort of history, and it just gets that sort of special place in your heart. So I suppose that's quite inspirational. I feel a sense of belonging here. It's always very nice to come back and walk around the university grounds, and it feels like home. Yeah. So I think that's quite a strong influence.
I think that's true for most of the students here. What's inspired you to pursue your career in public service and ultimately take on the role of Provost?
Yeah. Well, again, that was another evolution. So I did my qualification in surveying, and then I worked in that for a while. Then my husband, who I met at university, and I got married. But I came, as I said earlier, I come from a farming background, so the family business that I had, which was farming and retail, there was an opportunity for me to go back and work in that. So I returned to the family business, and we raised our family. So that sort of just evolved on, and then being very involved in the local community and involved in committees and things there, the next natural step for me was to give something back to my community. So I saw the opportunity to stand in the local council elections to represent the area that I live in, And I did that, and I was successful and I was elected as a councillor for my area in 2017, and I served the first 5 years of my council term just being a councillor. I had a turn of becoming a vice chair of a committee and built up my experience, and then stood in the election again last year and fortunately was successful in doing that, and then had the great honour of being asked by my peers if I would consider the role of Provost, and that's really how it happened. So it really was an evolution.
This is very inspirational, I would say. Can you describe your role in general?
Yeah, well, being the Provost is a huge privilege. Really become the sort of civic head of the council. So there's two sides to it. There's the governance side of the council, in that I, as Provost, chair the meetings of full council. So in Aberdeenshire we've got 70 councillors, and when we all come together in the council chamber to make decisions, I chair those meetings. But there's also the civic side of it. So I am the civic head of the council, so I would represent the council at official events, or if there was any visiting dignitaries or special occasions, I would be the person that would go along and represent the council. And I'm very ably assisted by my deputy provost as well. So between us, we take turns in attending events.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So what were the most interesting projects that you invested your time in?
Well, we've got lots of lovely things that happen in Aberdeenshire. We like to celebrate success. So one thing that happened last week, which I was very proud of, is that we had our Inspiring Aberdeenshire Awards, and that was where we were able to celebrate some wonderful people who I would say are the unsung heroes of Aberdeenshire, who just quietly go about doing things in their communities. And they were, we were asked for nominations, and then we had an awards ceremony last week.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. University is a time of growth and progress, and also exploration. Were there any significant personal milestones or life lessons that you gained during your time here?
I think it's just part personal development, I would say, and just getting to know yourself, I think, is really a big part of being at university. As we progress through school, we are, I think, quite protected, and then going to university is the big step into the outside world. So I think meeting new people with different backgrounds and having a broadening the horizons a little bit, broadening the perspective, and understanding more about the world, I think, is the biggest part of going to university, and just making that sort of first step into the outside world.
That's right. I feel like people change a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, life's all about relationships, and at university you get the chance to meet people. You learn more compassion and understanding for other people. I think.
Very right. Did you engage in any internships or part-time jobs or volunteering work during your time?
Yep, so during the third year at university, I volunteered my time to go and work for a firm as an intern, and actually that led on to a permanent job. So at the end of that, I was really, so it was very worthwhile. It was very worthwhile for me, because I had intended to come back and do my honours year at university, but having worked for the firm during the summer, they very kindly said, that there would be a traineeship available, and I thought, well, I could come back to university and spend another year studying, or I could just make that step now and go on and start my traineeship. So that's what I chose to do. So that was certainly a valuable internship for me.
Quite a big step.
Yes, yeah.
Very impressive. Many students struggle with the transition from academia to professional world. How did you navigate this transition, and what advice would you give to our newcomer students?
Yeah, I would just encourage everybody to get as much experience. If they get the opportunity for any work experience or work in the setting of the workplace, I think is really valuable, because what I found was it's all the sort of soft skills that we learn as we go along. Something as simple as answering the phone or conversing with a client. if you can have all the academic knowledge in the world, but then when you go and actually try to do the job, that can be a barrier. So if you've got the opportunity to get involved in societies or get some work experience, I think that's really, really helpful and beneficial, so that when you do go into the workplace, you're not running to catch up with all the sort of mundane side of things.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. What factors have contributed to your growth and success in a leadership role?
I think, again, I just think I've sort of evolved and found myself in this position. I pinch myself sometimes and say, how did I get here? You know, there's nothing special about me. How have I done this? I think I've been very fortunate that I've been in the right place at the right time. I think fate has got a lot to do with it.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think just having an understanding, an interest in people, I think that helps.
Yeah.
And certainly that helps for being a councillor, because you know that is our job, is to represent the people, the residents of the area that we've been elected to represent, and to help to take their views forward. And I think to have a broad mind and not be too, to listen to both sides of the story before making a decision. I think these are all useful skills.
Yeah. Can you share any advice or insights for individuals interested in pursuing a career in public service and leadership roles?
Well, I would encourage anybody to do it, because it is, as I say,
anybody can be a leader.
Anybody can be a leader. Yes, we've all got it in us. I mean, I don't feel like a leader, but I guess I am.
A lot of people tell me that they're not a leader and they can't be. Is it just a problem of their
I think it's about finding your confidence and believing in yourself, and really, anybody can do anything.
And how do you think you can find that confidence in yourself?
I just think believing in yourself, and I think taking that leap. I think just being brave. It's hard to describe. I don't really know how to describe it, because I still am a very underconfident person. You just have to. I don't know.
Just despite the fear.
And trust yourself. Trust yourself.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. Believe in yourself. And that was very motivational and inspirational for me. So.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's been a huge honour, and I'm so privileged to be one of your first interviews.
Yeah, I'm very pleased to have you. So.
Thank you. Well, best of luck with your society.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for viewing this video, and we'll see you in the next episodes.